This is a Kaplan-Meier curve for humans. This is the number surviving at a given age. And you can see that curve has actually improved over time, over the last roughly 20th century. So much so that we now have a few extra decades of life. That was mainly done through, not actually through medicine, but through sanitation, infant mortality, addressing infant mortality, and vaccination, which I guess is a kind of medicine. It should be readily apparent when you look at that. There's sort of two limits. The first is the curve at this point is pretty square. There's not a lot more squaring you can do to it. The second is historically, the maximum hadn't changed. So, if you stick with this as the way forward, there's not a lot of forward in the way forward. That's true no matter how much you spend. So this is a chart of health-adjusted life expectancy versus healthcare spend per capita. Each dot is a country. You can see there's an asymptote, right? No matter how much you spend, you're hitting a wall. And whenever you see a curve that looks like that, you have to ask yourself, well, is there a natural limit that we're running up against? And the answer is yes. That is a natural limit. So Geroscience and colleagues wrote a paper in Science now more than 30 years ago that has absolutely stood the test of time. They looked at that and they said, we are going to max out. The increases in life expectancy that we've seen are going to stop. And they did that by calculating, well, if we wanted to get to an average lifespan of 85, we'd have to cure 55% of degenerative disease. To get to an average of 90, we'd have to cure 70%. To get to 105, we'd have to cure 90%. That's in the context of, address mortality rate by 90%. And that's in the context of, even if we were to cure all major degenerative disease, we would only cut out 75% of the mortality rate. So when you look at that, you say it's going to be pretty hard to increase average life expectancy. And that is indeed what happened since they made this prediction. In fact, in some places like the US, it actually went the other way, largely due to opioids and obesity. And you can see their quote on the right, but that's not their actual quote. What they actually said was, unless. They said, unless we have some new technology that can change the fundamental lifespan and health span of humans, this is what we're going to see. And then they go on to say, but there's reason to believe that we may actually be able to modulate that intrinsic limit. And so the way to think about this, which a number of people have referenced, is, so first of all, the number one risk factor for most disease, most degenerative disease, is age. So this is cardiovascular disease, cancer, neurodegeneration, diabetes. These are really the scourges of mankind, and you can see they all go up with age, and they go up exponentially. Now, we haven't thought of age as an intervention point on this, because you live 1 year, you age 1 year. That's just the way it is. But if in fact it becomes possible that you can decouple biological age from chronological age, then this becomes an enormously powerful intervention point, not just to extend lifespan, but to address the burden of disease that we all face.